Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
Alright folks, here we are on Tuesday, March 5th. We're going to take a look at Crowdstrike today. So with earnings coming up, I thought we would come and take a look and see where Crowdstrike might hit some support or resistance based on if it booms or busts. And of course, some levels where it might sort of pin itself to if it moves relatively sideways. Now, I've put in some levels to the downside here. Those are the blue levels. The yellow levels are extension levels since we don't have a lot to go off of above this 338 area. So we'll go through these levels. So if it does come down from where it is now, and who knows exactly where it finishes the day. Right now it's 291.80, but 289.24 if it dips, and then there's actually, here's the extension level down here, and then below that 267.74, 250.54, 227.25. If it comes below that and folks are interested, leave me a comment. I'd be happy to come in and take another look at it levels below there, but I thought, that was quite a big percentage change. If it does come down that far. Now, if it does rise, well, I guess first of all, we have this 297.40 level there, and then the extension levels come in at 312.63, 337.04, 356.78, and then 376.51. So we'll see if any of those come into play. And, obviously I did a big range here, 227 all the way up to 376. So about a $150 range on a $290 stock. This isn't to say that this is going to be totally consumed by just the earnings move. Like I said, it could go relatively sideways in those near-in levels, but depending on what the sentiment is following earnings in the coming days and weeks, sometimes it's just a lot easier to put in some additional levels if you have access to them ahead of time. So on the think or swim side of things, that run up that we see over here that actually looks, quite crazy and quite steep, 92 all the way up to 338. It looks a bit more tame. It still looks impressive on the think or swim side of things, but it does look a bit more tame. It's mostly sort of like in the channel, pops out for a few times, and actually has some pretty impressive runs outside of the channel periodically, but it's sort of like continuously healthy dips back into the channel. Some tests in the mid-range here, some just testing of the wave cloud, and then exhausting more bullish momentum. But you see the histogram here is kind of wild. It's like, just come down to the baseline and then rise up, come down to the baseline and then rise up. There's barely any bearish momentum that gets put in here. So we'll see how the market digests that based on the earnings call. Of course, it will depend partially, or mostly, I guess, on what is actually in the earnings call. But the reaction to that could sometimes be surprising, based on if people feel that a bunch of good news or on par news is already priced in, that could have what would seem like sort of a quirky reaction. Or, if folks feel like, oh, we've been running this stock up for really good reasons and the earnings sort of supports that, then maybe that bullish momentum will just sort of keep ticking. We did have a trigger and fire here, and then a re-trigger and a refire, and that really set this in motion. So really good call out there by the TTM squeeze indicator. We had a very brief trigger and fire. Well, right now it's putting in a fire. This candle could always switch and become another trigger candle before close, but we'll see if that continues to take shape or not. But even though it has had that huge run up, right now, recently it dropped out of the bottom of the channel, came back in, tested the mid-range, and then for now at least is pushing off of it, treating that mid-range as resistance. So we'll see. So a couple of additional levels to consider. The bottom of this channel right now is 286.86, and the mid-range is 311.46, and the top range is 336.07. So we'll see if any of those sort of play additional factors as well. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.